Hey everyone, it's Deja from CrochetEverAfter.com. Today is the newest motif of the month. It's June 2016 and I'm calling this one a hexagon flower. So this is a 6-sided motif, and then it kind of has like this, if you use 2 different colors or even 3, you kind of get this little flower inside of the hexagon. So call this the hexagon flower. You can use anywhere from a 5mm to a 6mm hook. I'm going to make the sample with a 5.5 USI hook, but I'm going to show you the difference in size and why you might want to use a 5mm hook as opposed to a 6mm hook near the end of the video. So normal worsted weight yarn in 2 or 3 colors, whatever you like, and download the pattern below and we'll get started. So the first thing we're going to do is put a slip knot on our hook. So I always hold my yarn with a loop in my hand and I turn the hand with the loop down, and then I reach through to grab the working yarn. You can see my tail there. Grab the working yarn and then pull on your tail to close it down. Easy way to make a slip knot. Then I grab the working yarn, there's my tail, to close it down. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make an open hole for our motif. So we're going to chain 6, so that'll give us a pretty large open hole. So we're going to yarn over, turn our hook down, pull through the loop, and then push it into the shaft. Yarn over, turn it down, pull through and push. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to join it with a slip stitch. If I can get some more yarn. In the first chain we made, so just look for the loop that's over here, and we're gonna push our hook through anywhere because it's going to be covered, and then we're going to yarn over, turn the hook down to catch it, pull through, and then pull through the loop on your hook for the slip stitch. So now you can see the hole is pretty large. It's easy enough to see to be able to work through for round 1, which we'll start right now. So we're going to chain 4 for our first part of round 1. So what this does is it counts as a treble crochet. So chain 4s are usually the size of a treble crochet. So you want to make them the same size that your treble crochet would be. So if you crochet loosely, your chains are going to be a little loose. If you crochet like me, where it's the same size as your shaft, they're all going to be pretty uniform in size and not really a whole lot of space showing between them. So I'm going to do 2 trebles inside of the ring. So I yarn over twice and then insert the hook through that center ring. I'm just going to move the tail out of my way. I yarn over and I pull up a loop. And you'll see that all of my loops, I'm making them the same size as my shaft. So I'm going to be working off at a 45-degree angle. Some people pull them up like this. Either way is correct. It's just a different look to your finished project. So mine's going to be more dense looking. Somebody that pulls up, it might be a little bit more loftier, a little more space in between. So whatever you like best, you do. So the reason this is called a treble is because you're working off 2 loops at a time 3 times, so treble for 3. So we yarn over and we pull through the first 2, so that's 1. We yarn over, pull through the next 2, that's 2. And then we yarn over and pull through the last 2, and that's 3. So that's our treble. So it doesn't go with the number of yarn overs because we only do 2 yarn overs for treble, but we work off in groups of 2 3 times. Hopefully that makes sense. Just in case anybody was wondering where the treble came from. So I do 2. Now I'm going to do a chain 1. So you can see that my chain 4 is about the same size as my treble. So if you're doing a more lofty treble, just make your chains a little bit more spaced out. So I did my chain 1, and now I'm going to do 3 more trebles. Oops, I only yarned over once. Yarn over twice, insert, pull up, yarn over. So notice that I turn my hook down and I'm at a 45-degree angle to my stitch to pull through the 2 easily and to keep all of my loops the same size. So when I keep my loops the same size as my shaft, I get consistent stitches. So all my stitches are the same height. If you do a more loose treble. If you're used to pulling it up a certain height, then your stitches will be consistent too. It's just that they'll be taller. But if you're new to crocheting and you don't have down, you can do another chain one. We're just doing this around 6 times. So we're going to have 3 or 6 groups of 3 trebles with a chain one in between. So if you are new to crocheting and you pull up as you're working, so here I am pulling up, and you don't have a set amount that you pull up, so you can see the difference in height here. If you don't have a set amount, then your stitches will be kind of up and down all over the place. So using your shaft is a good way to get your stitches consistent. So just keep enough tension on your working tail to keep the loops the same size as your shaft. I'm not holding it super tight so I don't squish my stitches down. I'm just holding it enough that they stay the same size as my shaft. And that will give you more even stitches. So if you're like, I cannot get my stitches to look all the same size, try the shaft and that will help you. So I've got 3, I'm going to do 3 more. Make sure you put a chain one between each one, or I'm going to do 3 more sets, not just 3 trebles. So I'll come back as soon as I finish the 3rd set. That was only a double. I just finished my 6th group of 3, so you can see this chain 4 counts as a treble. So I have 1, another group 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So we have just that chain 1, so it's not a huge space, but we're going to be using it for the next round. So we're going to join with a slip stitch at the top of our chain 4. You'll notice I pulled this over because this very first chain is getting covered by my trebles. So I need to pull this over. This can all just slide over because usually you'll have kind of a big gap right here. It's just because of how you're making the stitches. Just slide everything over, and then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to slip stitch right at the top of that chain 4. Alright, so now this next round is a little different. We're going to turn our work because we want to go right into, oh, you know what? See, I made a mistake, so it's a good thing that we have that round because after this group of 3, I forgot to do my chain 1. So make sure that you're putting that last chain 1 before you join because you want to chain 1 between every group of 3. So again, I'm going to go back and do that slip stitch. Then I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to start just single crocheting into this chain 1 space. So I'm just going to insert my hook through, pull up, and chain 1. I don't need to do, single crochet. I don't need to do a chain 1 because I want these just low. I don't need them for a specific round. They don't need to be seen because we're going to be covering everything we're doing right here with the next round. So now I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's going to span the amount plus a little extra over those 3 trebles, and then I'm going to do a single crochet in the next chain 1 space. So we're doing this because we're going to be using this loop here for our next round. So again, chain 5, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, or I keep saying chain 1 for my single crochet into your chain 1, and then keep on doing that all the way around till we get back to the beginning. I got my last chain 5. Now I'm going to just slip stitch into that very first single crochet. I don't need to make another single crochet because what's important for this round are these chain 5s. The single crochets are just there to anchor them so that we can make them. So we don't need another one. So we're just gonna I keep getting my stuff mixed up today. We're gonna slip stitch and then we're gonna fasten off because we're gonna switch over to our white color or whatever color you want to use. Just have to find my scissors. Where did they go? Here we go. And then we're gonna join our white, and we're gonna join with a standing half double. So we're gonna do a slip knot to get it ready, And if you've watched my other motif videos, I do a lot of standing stitches for joining colors. And what it is we just start working the stitch that it says. So we need a half double crochet. So we're going to pretend like this yarn is already attached to our chain 5. So normally you would do a slip stitch to join it, and then you would do a chain 2 for a half double. But this way we have no chain join. So there's the only thing that's going to have a chain standing stitch, which is what we call the beginning of a round where we use a chain instead of a stitch. That chain 4 is the only one we're going to have for this motif. So we're going to yarn over just like we're doing a half double crochet. Hold on to your tail, otherwise it'll just slip right off. So yarn over, make sure you have 2 loops on your hook. Hold on to that tail. Insert your hook into this chain 5 spot. Pull up a loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook, just like for a half double crochet. Yarn over, turn your hook down so you can get through easy, and pull through all 3. So now we started and joined our new color with a half double crochet. I pulled it all the way over because we're going to fill in all of this chain 5 with more stitches. So I'm just giving us some room. So now we're going to do 2 double crochets. So yarn over again, insert your hook. So remember with the treble we worked off groups of 2 3 times. Double crochet we work off groups of 2 2 times. So yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. Do another one of those. Then we're going to do 3 treble crochets, so yarn over twice, insert, pull through, pull through, pull through, get some more slack, another one. So we're kind of doing a mirror. So this is the top of our group of stitches, this second treble. Now we're going to do another treble to start going back down. So we had 2 double crochets, so we're going to do 2 double crochets on this side, another double, and then a half double like we had at the beginning. And that's what we're going to do around. We're not going to do anything in the single crochet spot. We're just going to totally skip over it and start our next group in the next chain 5. So another half double, 2 doubles, 3 trebles, 2 doubles, and a half. So we're just going to do this 6 times around, and then we'll meet up at the end of the round to fasten off and start our last round. And remember, these all slide, so if they're starting to get a little spaced out, just pull them over and they'll be good to go. Alright, I got all 6 done. So I have the last half double crochet, and then I'm just going to join to the first half double crochet. So we have a nice V up on top to join to, so just insert your hook under both loops. Just pull your tail out of the way, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Then we're going to fasten off because we're going to go back to blue for our last round, or whatever color you want. Alright, so we're going to do a standing treble this time. So same thing, we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. And then begin like we're going to start a treble crochet. So we're going to yarn over twice, hold on to your tail, and then we're going to start in any of the half double crochets, lost one, at the beginning of the petal. So any of these very right hand half double crochets. So I'm not going to start at this one since that's where the join was. I'll start over here so it's a little easier to see. So we have the half double, the stitch you're working into, because you have one on the left and one on the right, it's always to the right. That is always the stitch, unless you're left-handed, then it's going to be to your left because you're working that way instead of that way. But it's always going to be the one on the side that your hand is. So whatever hand you're using to work your crochet, go to the stitch on that side. So you'll see it's coming out over here and to the right. So I'm going to insert my hook. I have my 2 loops already on. Pull up a loop and then start working them off 2 at a time like for a treble. So now we have our very first stitch. It's not a chain, so it doesn't look funky. It looks just like our regular trebles. And then we're gonna move on to kind of doing the reverse of what we did for the petals. So the only thing that's gonna stay the same is we're going to do double crochets in our double crochet. So we're gonna do 1 double crochet in this next stitch. That was a double crochet before, and then another double crochet in the stitch that was a double crochet. And then we have these 3 trebles. So we're doing the reverse. We're gonna put half doubles, because notice we put a treble in the half double. So we're gonna put a half double in the treble. So it's kind of bringing it back down. So 3 half doubles, yarn over. Notice I always turn my hook down to pull through. It gets through all of the loops easy. Then we're gonna do 2 doubles to our doubles that are below. And then we're at the half double, so we're gonna do another treble. Yarn over twice, and treble. Oops, I'm getting my tail in there. And we're going to keep doing that all the way around. So just like the last round, we're just skipping whatever, we're just going straight into the next half double and doing a treble. Then 2 doubles, 3 half doubles, 2 doubles again, and then 1 treble. So same thing. And this will give us little kind of hexagon shape. So these trebles here are going to be our points of the hexagon. So keep doing that all the way around. On my last treble crochet, and then we're going to join up and fasten off. So if you want this, if you're making a blanket or anything, when you join it, you're going to use the trebles as kind of the points for your hexagon. You can always block this beforehand, and it's going to be working between the 2 trebles is where you want the points to come out of. So pull on the little spot between the 2 trebles and pin that so you can get a good hexagon. I have one that's already woven in, and I also used a J hook. So I wanted to show you the difference in size and the difference in density of using 2 different size hooks. So this is only a 1/2 millimeter off. This is a 5.5 millimeter or USI, and this is a 6 millimeter USJ. So if I lay them on top of each other, you can see that I get quite a size difference. So if you're making a blanket and you want it to turn out faster, use a bigger hook, and it's still pretty the same density. You can see there's a little bit more that you can see through with the J hook as opposed to the I, but it's not that different. It's not super noticeable. So using just a different hook can get you a way different size. So usually this kind of worsted weight yarn, they recommend anywhere from a 5 millimeter or an H to a 6 millimeter J. So the only difference is that it's going to be more dense. The smaller the hook, it'll be less drapey. So it'll be very stiff if it's an H or a 5 millimeter, and this J will be more drapey and less stiff. So that's the difference between the hook sizes and sizes. The H would be even a little bit smaller than this. So if you're making blankets and you want them to go much faster, use the largest hook that the ball band recommends, and you'll get a bigger blanket quicker. So that is the motif of the month, and thank you for watching.